I'm Callisto Cortez. I I work at Copper Source. I do kind of a lot of different programming here. I am now officially CPR certified. I'm a CPR instructor, so I'll be teaching classes alongside my supervisor. Um, I'm teaching the Safe Sitter course, which is a really great babysitting course for students who are in sixth, seventh, and eighth grade. It gets them prepared for whether it's taking care of their younger siblings, neighbors, family, friends, children. So it gets them prepared, and they'll also have CPR certification through that, which is really great. We also teach Narcan trainings. So if there is someone that you suspect has an opioid overdose, it is the reversal drug for that, so you can potentially save a life. So we teach people how to administer that and what that looks like. We also teach QPR, which is question, persuade, refer, which is a suicide prevention tool for the community. Um, and kind of the list goes on and on. I'm really excited to be a part of this foundation. I'm also an on-call advocate as well. So
Oh,
kind of a lot under my belt. It is really rewarding because it it's it wasn't something I ever pictured myself doing when I was younger. But sometimes there was always moments where I was like, I really want to help people. I really want to be involved in what can I offer to people that will help their mental health, will help them in their lives to succeed, or just being there for people, I guess is my main thing. So this line of work really helps to fulfill that for me. And then I really enjoy outside of work. I really love spending time with my family. My dogs, my cat, my partner, they're a big part of what keeps me, like sane and doing everything that I do. I really love I really love makeup. It's like beauty. That's a big hobby of mine. I actually got certified to do makeup, so that's really fun, like off to the side kind of thing. I really love theater as well. That's actually what I went to school for, and what really started the snowball effect of wanting to work more in mental health because I saw so many people in theater not taking care of themselves and not um, having the right mindset for when they were going into a room that was super dark for like 8 hours, right? Because that's what theater is. So that was what really started getting me thinking, like, oh, this needs to be more normalized, that you need to talk when things are hard. You need to be able to have that confidence too. I had gone a number of years feeling suicidal, and I would come out of it and be kind of feeling better, and then I would kind of slip back into it again. And um, it was really hard because I felt very isolated a lot because a lot of the time I was in my own head. And you'll hear that from some people who were experiencing suicidal ideation is they always felt too in their head, like they couldn't get out, right? So that's what I experienced a lot, and I had experienced the death of my mother's partner. He had completed suicide, so that was a big, um, just something that is still very hard at times to see what my mother went through when she lost the man that she loved. And being so, I got scared to be able to tell her that that was what I was feeling too, because I didn't want to add on to her pain. So I think that was where I struggled a lot. So I didn't always want to tell people because I never wanted other people to feel sad for me or bad for me, or like there was something that they weren't doing right because I was feeling this way. So I kind of self-isolated a lot during that time. And some of it, we all went through COVID. So a lot of people can recognize how isolating that was as well, and what that experience was like of just being so closed off as well. So if you're already going through mental health, crises, that just really just kind of threw a lot of us through the loop. Um, so yeah, it was really hard. Uh, Feeling the way that I did and not wanting to be here was what how I felt. And just I felt like I was losing a lot of the people in my life as well. So that can be really isolating. And I had grown up um, in really financially unstable household when I was younger, and that kind of played along into getting into college, and I didn't always have money, and I wasn't able to afford the things that I needed, and sometimes food insecurity. So that also played a huge role in my mental health as well. I think I needed people who knew the signs of what I was going through, and I think I needed people who had the mental stability and wherewithal to be able to help me, because I think I was surrounded by people that were my age who were still learning and still growing and developing alongside me. So they didn't really have the tools or the resources to know how to help me. And I think during that time it was harder to go to the campus counseling because I never felt like I was supported the way I needed to be, because I think the the dynamics of what I was going through weren't necessarily that of our typical college kids, right? So I'm not sure that they knew how to navigate that. So, and I wish I would have known at that point that there was other resources that I could have went to, because I only knew about the counseling resources on campus. Um, so I just wish I would have been more aware of what was out there, which I feel like now people do a lot better marketing, and getting the word out through social media is a huge part of why I know so many resources now versus then. I had been in therapy uh, for a little while, and when I first started college, I wasn't really there as much anymore, just because I didn't have a car, so I didn't have the resources to be able to go, and they weren't doing video calling yet during that time, so that was kind of one of those uh, where it's conflicting of like how can I talk to the same therapist, and it's always the dynamic of if you have to switch to a new therapist. For some people, it's really hard to have to open up to somebody else, which I know for me, that's what I struggled with when I was younger. Um, and so sometimes you just feel like if there's not enough people talking about mental health, you just pretend it's not there. And so for me, in what I know now, I don't mind talking about mental health. I want it to be normalized. I don't want there to be stigma behind people who feel suicidal and who do have that ideation. I think that if you are struggling, you should talk about it. You should talk about it enough that someone's like, I think I know where to point you in the right direction to get the help that you need. So that's how I feel in looking back at what I experienced, in that taking classes like QPR just to understand how someone's feeling if you don't know or you don't know the right words to say, having a class like that can get you there, even if you are not the person who's gonna create their safety plan or help them make a safety plan. You can get them to a person who can do that for them. I had gone some time after my attempt, just pretending that life was normal, which I think that there are some people who do that, and that I didn't want to. I think I came out of it being like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to feel like this ever again. because I think I had that realization um, of like, oh, this was scary. Um, and then I reached out to my therapist who I found out had come back to town because she had moved. And I was like, I need to talk with her. I need to save myself. Um, and so I went through that a lot over the course of maybe, I think, 7 years or something after that, kind of navigating how do I do this and you kind of falling in and out of that place. Um, which is hard, especially when you don't know what to do as a young person. You don't know how to reach out to people, and I think for some it's when you are feeling that way and you start to try to tell somebody what you're going through when it's a like similar person, a young person, and they don't have the words, you kind of just pretend like you don't have anything wrong, or you just keep going even though you're feeling that way. And that's what I experienced a lot. And I wish I hadn't done that. I wish I had the resources I do now. Obviously, we all think that. Um, but it was a lot of navigating, and the thoughts that I would have was just like, I'm staying alive for my family. I'm staying alive because there are people who love me, that care about me, and I don't want to bring sadness and grief into their lives. Because I know the grief that I felt after my grandpa had passed was really hard for me, so I never wanted somebody else to experience that. So it was kind of the thoughts of like other people that kept me here to start.
Mhm.
Um, but once we got into COVID times, it was a little bit harder to think about other people when I was constantly in my head and isolated. So that kind of fell off. And so when I got to a point where I was thinking about completing, I was like, oh, I'm here again. And so I reached out to people that I knew wouldn't wouldn't allow me to kind of fall back into those patterns. And so I had actually moved in with my family friends who then made sure to advocate for me if I was struggling to get me back into a routine that was going to send me on a path to where I could succeed again and not feel like I was drowning. For me, it was when I had moved in with my family friend, because I view him as my big brother, and he was someone where it was kind of the first time in my life where I could openly be like, I'm struggling right now, and I'm starting to have ideation, and he would just sit there with me, and he would just hold my hand, and we would breathe through it. So having someone who knew what the experience was like to feel that way and to not um, tell me that it was all in my head. Because I think that kind of stigmatizes it, right? And that's why it's always good to find the words that will help guide someone through it rather than making them fall back into themselves and not trust you anymore. Because there's a lot of distrust when you just tell someone it's in their head, or you say, like, well, why would you think like that? There's a lot of stigmatizing phrases that actually come out. So knowing how to talk to someone that might be experiencing that was really important to me. So that created a safe space. Because you always want to feel safe with the people that you're around, of course. So for me, that was like, oh, I can talk about this
Mhm.
and not have someone tell me it's all in my head. Which obviously, like that's, we do a lot of thinking. That is where it happens, but in the way that it's said, it's hard to hear
Mhm.
kind of thing. So that really set me into a way of like, oh, I can I can do this. I can be supported by other people because that's all I ever wanted was to have people around me that I felt cared. Um, and that I could talk to. So that helped a lot. And then I went through some time of that, like navigating life and different challenges that came up that um, challenged that for me. And can I get through this? And I did. And it was really lovely. And th there were some really hard times even after that that I experienced, whether it was a really bad relationship that I had to get out of. But with the help of a therapist, I was able to get away from that situation and come out on the other side of it. And that really helped and saved me as well. Um, and then finding this job and this line of work, um, and being a part of a suicide prevention coalition really, really fulfills that need to not only help myself, but to help other people and feel like I can be that person who can say, I've been where you are, and just know that I came out of it, and I still experience different bouts of where I don't feel the best, but I know where to go. I know how to process this. I know how to cope with it. And I even recently got diagnosed with OCD, which getting the help that you need in mental health and finding out like there might be something more with this and the way that you feel. And so for me, learning and navigating and finally getting a diagnosis of why I'm so in my head all the time, why I feel this way, has been really life-changing for me, especially. So I think that getting out there and going and talking with a counselor, getting therapy, doing exposure therapy in any means is, I think, really important. I had gone so many years feeling really terrible, really awful, and always hiding the way that I felt and never feeling like I could connect with people who might have felt similarly. And so once I started feeling safer in doing that, I really started to understand that connection and that like social behavior that we as humans need was, I think, going to be important for other people, not just me. And so if I can be confident in sharing my story and my struggles, maybe other people would start to understand, like, I need to do that. Maybe that's what's going to set me on my healing journey and coming out on the other side of this really debilitating experience. Because it can really put you out and make you feel like you've lost years of your life if that's how long you've been experiencing depression or suicidal ideation. And for me, finally having an, a name to what I'm experiencing has been, like I said, really life-changing. So to be able to tell my story and knowing that I could be an advocate for them if they need, excuse me,
Oh, no worries.
or even just a face to associate with um, being like kind of flourishing in life after the fact. I think that's what kind of set that off for me. Very different from when I was struggling, and it's really it's nice to kind of see who I've become versus who I was, and those core bits of me are still there. Those really nice things that I really love and cherish about myself. Um, yeah, there's so much stability that I have now, Like I said, I experienced a lot of food insecurity, and um, at some points we would have like housing insecurity when I was younger. And then in college, it was kind of, I felt a lot of isolation, even though I was surrounded by people. And so that is very different than what I have now. I have a really great community behind me. I have my partner. I have my siblings who I'm a lot closer to now. Because I'm not afraid to connect with people anymore either. And kind of allow them to be um with me, I suppose, because I would push people away a lot. Um, but yeah, I've just been enjoying working too, and the especially the more programs that um I've been getting into this last year has been really exciting, and just building community around me and making more friends and getting into more projects outside of work that bring me a lot of joy as well. If in your local area you hear about some kind of suicide prevention training, whether that's a QPR training or even for youth, there's trainings that might happen at the local schools. You should take it if you have the capacity to be an advocate for those people, to be someone that can sit with someone who's struggling, someone who might have suicide ideation. I think that if you are capable and have the capacity, I think you should, because you might be that person to save somebody's life. And having that training and knowing how to navigate that, I think would be one of the best things that you could do for yourself and for other people around you. I just wanted to shout out our Houghton Keweenaw County Suicide Prevention Coalition. We're getting into some really exciting stuff this year and navigating what we want to be able to do in the community. And a lot of the our local partners who are on the coalition are putting out some trainings, youth mental health, first aid. We are doing QPR trainings. We'll have assist trainings, which is another suicide intervention prevention tool. And we'll be on to our suicide prevention walk in the fall as well. So I just wanted to kind of hype up our coalition as we're doing some really great work, and I'm very proud of the people that are a part of it.